Hey, good afternoon. It's about 1500 on the 22,932nd day of my existence. It's Thursday, my favorite day of the week. It's the third week of September, and it's a pretty nice day today. How's your day going? Good. Um, well, before I get talking about anything else, I just wanted to say about the sesh that I did on Sunday about being exhausted. And I really appreciate the comments that I got. I got three really good ones that I liked all three of them. One person said they've been taking, 2, 3 naps a day and they're glad to find out that at least one other person is feeling exhausted like they are. So we're in this together, right? And somebody else commented about solar flares and told me to look into it because the solar flares are affecting or zapping our energy here on Earth, the humans. And I did look into it. I did a Google search of it. I looked it up in a couple of science magazines that I have, that I read regularly. And I even looked into some of the New Age magazines that I've got. And pretty much everybody agrees that no, the ionosphere, the magnetic fields, the ozone layer, they keep those kind of things away from us, the things that can really affect our brain waves and stuff like that. And well, science is always changing. Maybe they don't know something yet, and somebody else does, but it made sense to me, at least on a logical level. And I got to say, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But if that's what you think is going on, I'm not gonna discount it. I'll keep it in mind. And the last one I got, I really liked. They said, "Oh, I'm so excited." They were like quoting me, "Oh, I'm so exhausted. Excuse me while I have another bong hit." I hearted that comment because it's so spot on. Yeah, that might have something to do with being exhausted all the time. But honestly, I've been imbuing cannabis for 50 years now. I have been using it medicinally for about 20 years now. And it really doesn't have that kind of effect when I smoke a sativa, when I smoke during the day, especially when I counter it with caffeine. That's like one of my favorite things is caffeine and cannabis. It's just, I really enjoy the combination of that. But maybe they do have a point. Maybe there is something there. That's why I get tired. I know that indica, I have a bowl or two of indica before I go to bed, and I have a gummy, a pretty powerful indica gummy before I sleep. And of course, I do that so that I don't have to take, some god awful sleeping pill or a pain pill, because that shit is really bad for me. That shit I don't like. And so maybe there is some truth to that too. I don't know. Again, is it going to stop me from imbuing cannabis? Certainly not. But again, it's something to think about, isn't it? So yeah, my week, I am tired. I got about 3 hours sleep last night, and I had a really good meeting with my attorney today, which was he's helping me hammer out the contracts and the things that I need to successfully launch the Your Book About You project. We go into beta next month, and by the end of the year, I hope to have between 1 and 3 books produced. We got to talking about the importance of stories in our lives. And you might have heard me talk about this before, but what is life really but a series of stories? They are stories that we tell about ourselves. They are stories that are told to us about ourselves, about our family, about our lives. They are stories that are told to us in our history, in the media, the narratives that we're fed, and all this stuff sinks in and it creates who we are. And I encourage people strongly to take control of their story. You are the author of your story. You are the protagonist. Sometimes you're the fucking antagonist in your own story, but it's your story and you should control it. I've had the problem, and I'm sure a lot of people have had the problem of listening to stories about themselves that other people tell that disparage you, that denigrate you, that make you feel bad about yourself. I used to be told a lot that I was very arrogant, and I used to be told that I was lazy and that I had no aim, and that I gotta, pick a road and stick to it, or I'm not going to get anywhere in life. And, things, and I believed all this stuff about myself, and it held me back. There I am being my own antagonist in my own story. It held me back for a number of years. It wasn't until my late 20s, early 30s that I really got a grip on controlling my own narrative. And you know what happened? My life got so much better. It got so much better. And part of my narrative now is part of the reason why it got so much better is because of the woman that came into my life, my Kelly, and that's a whole nother story that we have, that we share. Is the story of our love, the story of our health, the story of our education, of our family upbringing. Whatever your story is, we all have them. Control your stories. Tell your stories. And being a writer, I'm guilty of embellishing my stories. I take a certain poetic license with it, but I don't lie. I don't believe in lying. I used to have a pretty good fib I told about when I was born, and I'll tell you about that another time. But the problem is, if, yeah, you can do that. I mean, we all know people. There are people who are running for president that tell lies about their life. And the thing about it is, it's like the sun and the moon, the truth. All three of those things cannot ever be hidden for long. You know what I mean? Clouds may cover the sun. It may become, on the other side of the earth. We don't see it, but it comes back around. It breaks through the clouds. Same thing with the moon, isn't it? Same thing with the truth, ain't it? So if you tell lies about your life, you're going to get busted. Somebody's going to find you out. And even if they don't call you out on it, they're going to know you're full of shit. And then what kind of story are you telling? Your actions are telling the story, not your words, not your narrative, not your truth. And let's see. So that's I wanted to talk about tired and being tired, and I wanted to talk about the tales that we tell. And what was the other thing I wanted? Oh, trying. Yoda once said, "Do or do not. There is no try." And I'm saying Yoda like as if he's real. We all know that he's a Muppet in a movie, but the sentiment is dead spot on, isn't it? Either you fucking do it or you don't. But trying isn't really an option because you don't really give it your all when you try, do you? Well, I don't know if I really agree with that. I do think there is something to be said for trying your best, trying your hardest, trying against all odds. And sometimes when you try, you don't make it, so you don't. You didn't do, you don't did, and it may not be your fault that you did because it could be the circumstances, it could be the timing, it could be a number of different things that have nothing to do with you. If you are trying your best, if you try as hard as you can, I don't think anybody can ask anything else of you. And I say that with the caveat that, early this year, I've been told many times by many people, you got to get on social media. I was on Facebook from about 07 to 2012, excuse me. And by 2012, I was so fed up with it then. I just thought it was total bullshit. And I can't stand the smarmy people that run the tech companies that build these platforms. Most of them I think are assholes. I don't like the way that they make money off your data. I don't like the way that they expose your personal information. It's so far at risk. I really don't like the way that people are driven by algorithms that shape the things that they see, that they read, that they hear, that create something that isn't even true about them. Again, somebody else controlling a narrative for you. I don't like that at all. And there was a brief period in 2017 that I got on for about 2 months, and I was just like, yeah, it's even worse than it was when I got off 5 years ago. So I didn't get back on, and I haven't been back on. And then this year I thought, well, again, at the urging of some of my people, the people I know in the publishing industry, this lady who helps me with some of the public relations stuff that I've done, they strongly encourage me to get out there, get on Facebook. They tell me get on Instagram, get on Twitter, and well, Twitter I won't go on. And yes, I'm dead naming that place because I can't stand that motherfucker. I'm dead naming his company because he dead names his own kid, and I think that's so wrong. And you know who I'm talking about? Donald Trump's friend Leon, I don't know what's his last name. I don't like the way things are on that. Again, you've got people who think that they're powerful because they're sitting behind a keyboard and they can say anything they want to people and get away with it. Or, the trolling thing. I really don't like that. I really don't like the disinformation thing that's going on out there. And there's a ton of it, even with fact checkers and stuff like that. There's a fuck ton of this disinformation. Look, just happening, again, with the politics thing. I just, I've been resisting it, but this year, it was one of the things I considered changing. And so I put on my list SM24. SM24 is social media for 24. And I started with YouTube because I'm really comfortable with YouTube. I think that at least here I can control a narrative. I'm telling you what's on my mind directly, or as directly as I can. And there's, you can tell when I'm being sarcastic by the way I say something or my facial expression, or, you can tell when I'm being serious or not. And but I didn't get around to doing Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or any of the other ones that I kind of was eyeballing it. And this week, both my publisher friend in San Francisco, he almost yelled at me, "Why can't I find you? You got my number, man. Call me." No, I need your YouTube channel. I found it by accident, and I was like, "Oh, good," And he liked what I'm doing here, whatever. He had things to say about it. But he said, you got to connect it to like at least an Instagram if you're gonna, get your viewership up. You talk about getting new subscribers. That's a way to do that. He was really pushing TikTok too, but not TikTok too. Tic Tac Toe, no, TikTok. So this morning I had put it on my list again, except I'm calling it SM25 since 24 is about over. And who knows if I'll get to it before the end of the year. Might not be until the first of next year. But I kind of got the feeling I got to do this. It's the way we all communicate in the 21st century, right? I mean, we don't really send newsletters out or anything like that. We don't go to networking things where we pass out cards and get to meet and greet. We don't really do anything truly social anymore. It's all this social media, And I guess, if I want to connect with more people, if I want to build a community, if I want to be part of community, this is where you're going to find it, they say. Yeah, so it's probably maybe 15:30, I guess. I think I'm going to go have myself a little siesta. I didn't get to bed until after 2. I got up at a little past 5. I've been on the go all day. I'm going to take myself a little nap, and then I'm going to do the garden. Perhaps the most important thing I talked about today. So keep that in mind for this Thursday's talk. Thursday talk about truth. I think part of the reason why I'm harping on it is because I've been lied to recently by a couple of people that, some friends of mine that, yeah, they were kind of white lies, I guess, but it hurt my feeling that they didn't trust me enough to tell me the truth of the matter. Maybe it's my fault that they lied to me. I don't know, but that kind of hurt. And the other reason I think truth is on my mind again, and I hate to keep coming back to this political bullshit stuff, but it's everywhere, is truth in advertising, truth in fucking politics, truth in the fucking news. Before Reagan took away the Rule 150, the Tiredness doctrine, where news organizations, since they are using the people's airwaves, had to deliver the whole truth and nothing but the fucking truth. And if you had an opinion, they had to put opinion or commentary or editorial. They had to let you know this is just what one guy is thinking. Okay, it isn't fact. It isn't reporting the news. It's just somebody giving an opinion. And oftentimes, if you gave an opinion on something controversial, the station felt obliged to give somebody who believed in an opposing opinion equal time. And that doesn't happen anymore, does it? So that's part of the thing that's really, the truth is just, the truth, the truth will come out, the truth will prevail, the truth will set you free. Whether you believe in God, the Lord Almighty, or whatever, or you're one of those people who's just into the spirituality and the connectedness of nature and the force and all that, or maybe you're just a hardcore science person who just deals with the facts as they're known. All of those require truth for them to really work, and that's the most important thing I can tell you today, is to speak your truth, live your truth, listen for the truth. And if it smells like shit, it probably is, man. All right, well, I'm gonna get going. But before I do, how would you guys like to take a look at this? Hey, welcome. It's the Friday finish, and it's the wee hours of Friday morning right now if you're on the East Coast. But it's close enough to Friday for me. So this week I'm gonna kind of change it up a little bit. It's been a good week, got a lot done, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and she said, you know what I realized this summer, especially when I've been talking about goals and following through and getting things done. She said, yeah, I like to start things a lot, but I don't like following through. I don't like finishing. She brought up the example of her garden. She was all gung-ho. She invested lots of money to build a really beautiful garden and grew all kinds of things and got it all going. And then halfway through the summer, she was just like, and just kind of let it go. And it got me thinking about commitment. That is a key thing when you're doing anything, when you're setting goals, when you're aiming for something big or something not so big. Following through and having the commitment to see it all the way through, no matter what it is. If you're growing a garden, you start whenever you plant. I started our cannabis garden back in February, and I'm following through, and I'll be doing it all the way till sometime in the middle of October. Follow through, commitment. That's what it takes to get things done. You're on a road trip. I've talked about this before. Setting goals is like a road trip. You've got a destination, and the goals are the stops that you make on the destination. And if you were on a destination and you're, going away, then halfway through the destination, you go, yeah, I think I'm going to go somewhere else. It's like, you know, it, it is so important, you know, if you don't know what you're going for, any road is going to get you there, right? That's George Harrison said that, and I sincerely believe it to be true. In this commitment. That's what I've got to say on the Friday finish right now. I'm excited about the weekend, although it's really going to be kind of a lot of cleaning up and getting things ready because our nephew is coming in town the next weekend over our daughter Maggie's birthday. Weekend. And so we're getting really excited about that. So this weekend, we're going to start the cleaning up process. We're going to get the garage ready so that we can start harvesting our garden pretty soon. And that's pretty much it. Sicilian in me is coming out. What about you? You got plans for the weekend? Are you going to be industrious like us? Are you going to go out and have fun with your friends? Are you holed up inside reading a good book? Are you not feeling too well and you're just going to kind of crawl under the covers? What's going on for you this weekend? I'm interested in knowing. So let me know. All right. I don't have much else to tell you guys right now, so I'm just going to leave it right here. But you know what I always say: you take care of yourself. Be safe out there. Keep that dauber up. Bye.